Can we make a tray for this in one day? Stick around, see what we can pull off. Alrighty, so welcome back, and today we are back on the 1938 Chevrolet with the ribs in the roof, which means it is built by Holdens. That's right, so this is an Australian built body for a 1938 Chev. And if you've been keeping track, we've done a 5-inch roof chop on it and made it look beautiful. We've just dropped it onto our 1933 Chevy chassis, which has a Holden front end, very similar to probably an old Chevy type front end, and we've got a 4-bar rear put in it. There's our seat that we made, and here's our motor that we built. Well, if you've also been keeping up, you know that I'm nicking this motor, putting it in that. Ooh, yeah. So that will probably have already been pulled out by the time you see this video. So today's plan is we are going to do the tray. So this is what we've got. You're going to look at this and go, what are you doing? So this is what I picked up. I picked this little tray up for 50 bucks. Now, so I don't know if I said, but that tray, it's about a $2,500 tray. This one we got for 50 bucks. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So as you can see, we've got our, I don't know what you'd call that, our sides. But it's got this weird front. Looks a bit like Santa's sleigh, doesn't it? We've got the little step outs here. We've got no tailgate, and then we've got our number plates. What would you say that's Frenched in? Yeah. And we've got like a little tray there for our battery to go into. So we've got to chop this up. So my plan is we're going to chop it through here. So we want to leave this Frenched in piece. We're going to leave our battery tray. So basically what I think we will do is we will chop it on the side, through here and through here. It has to be chopped and then widened. So I'll pick out a good spot and draw it where I want to chop it through. We will then chop it. Then we'll sit this, because as you can see, this is got to go on the outside of our rails. We will then chop it down through here, the whole length. We'll then just work with one side, and we'll start placing this one side where we want it to sit. So that's my plan. We'll then do the same to the other side, work it, notch it, cut it wherever we want. We may have to cut this out bigger. We'll work out what we want to do. But the plan is to try to get these bars at least down to this height. Maybe lower. We'll see. Enough dribbling. Let's get the grinder out. Do some cuts, do some chops, and start playing with it. right Rooney. Alright, so you're probably looking at that going, what the hell are you making here? So I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a guard just there. It's an absolute mess out here at the moment. We've got to do a big time tidy up, but there's a guard and running board there, which I put on, and it looked pretty good. It did look pretty good. The running board was down, like down there with the little step up. It actually looked pretty nice, but to get the guard centered to the wheel, you put the front of the guard way out there where the nose cone is sitting now, and then there's just this big stupid gap in here which I did not like, and then the running board was finishing about there, so that means it had to be extended, and yeah, it wasn't right. It was mainly that gap, and they're rough and they're rusty and there's holes, and we could have worked around all that, but that gap just looked silly. And to bring that back to where that looks good, then there was a huge gap like there, and the guard was at the touching here, and there's like monster gap. So yeah, we just couldn't get, I can't get that to look correct. So this is how I want this tray to be. Okay, we are around 6 to 8 inches off the ground, so I think that's perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to have the top of this line here matching that body line, so it may need to come up a little bit at the back, but this is how we're going to have it, right? I think that's pretty groovy. Right, and then we've got it going under the car a little bit there, under the cab. Okay, now as you can see, we chopped it into a million pieces. So we've got it sitting here, and it works pretty well. So we've chopped it, the guts of it out, we've got it way in under the chassis. So what we're going to do is we're just going to weld some big chunky flat bar. I've got some 10mm flat. We're going to weld some big chunky flat bar brackets with holes in it into these 4 spots. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, that's what's going to mount it. Comprende? We're going to put a piece in there, and we'll put a new piece in there. We'll put a new piece of the floor in there. In the back here, we chopped that out, so we will recenter that here, and we'll put a little strip in there and a strip in on there, right? And we'll put a new piece there. Now, the center section, we're not even going to worry about any of that battery tray malarkey at the moment. We'll do that later. What I'm thinking of doing is then probably running a piece in here on both front and back, on both sides, at around this sort of height. Okay, and we will then fill that with wood. Okay, we may still weld the battery tray in. We'll look at that. We may weld the battery tray in up the front here. We'll look at that. We may, who knows what we're going to do with that. And then this will be boxed in, and in the back here we'll put a new piece, brand new piece here across the top. Put a brand new piece in there. We'll have a look at that front one. I don't know if we even need that, but we'll put a brand new piece in there. Then what I'm thinking of doing is getting a sheet of tin, whether it's a street sign perhaps, and I was thinking we will put the Chev logo, you know, the badge thing, what do they call it, you know, the thing, the Chevy logo in there, and we'll use our bead roller, and we'll bead roll in the Chev logo into this back piece that we'll put in. That's what I'm thinking there, and that should look tough as. So that's going to look low and cool, and it's pretty wide, but I think it'll look alright. I really think that's going to look good. Now, I know you're all going, what? You're an idiot. So our next plan will be to just get this exactly where we want it. We'll probably start putting some pieces across and joining the framework up. We'll have to go to the metal shop, I think, and grab a couple more pieces of it's probably 1 inch. I'm not quite sure if I've got enough. We may have enough. We'll see what we've got. We may have it. I think I've got 2 long pieces, so we might be all right. Okay, so we're going to put some 1 inch in. We'll get that done. So we'll get the skeleton, and we'll get the. We'll have to make some plates and drill them and weld them on. So we'll get the mounts on and the skeleton done. Then we'll sheet it. We'll use that old piece. We'll see. I think I've got some pieces we cut out of the fuel tank thing here. That was in there. I think there's a couple bits over there that we'll use. So reason being, it's not that I haven't got new metal, it's that I want to use the old metal. Then once we've done all of that, we've got to also cut the arch slightly bigger on this side. I made this one a bit bigger and it's better. And then once we've got all that, we will then, once we've finished it all, we're going to take this and grind into this paint, take a fair bit of this paint off, leave some bits, but yeah, we're going to get rid of some paint. Looks like they had some bog and filler in it and whatever, so we're going to get rid of that, and we'll throw some other colours in it. So we want a fair bit back to bare metal. We'll leave a bit of orange, but we'll throw some of these other colours we've got, some blues, some greys, some creams on as well. And then we will probably put some acid on this and let this rust up and try to get this to kind of match our cab. Now, you're still looking at me going, aren't you? I know you are, because I can hear you saying, but it looks stupid. It looks stupid, Brett. Well, bear with me. I am lowering this cab. So we're going to channel this at least another 4 inches. Okay? We're going to go down at least 4 inches more. Everyone has said they're happy. They all reckon it looks good where it is. I don't like it. I want it lower. So we're going to do 4 inches. We're going to channel that. So we're going to try to do that in this episode as well. We probably won't finish that, but we'll just get it lopped, get it cut, and get it dropped to get the visual is the plan. So we're going to jump onto that as well. We also, which isn't in this video, oh well it may be, we also have to chop we're going to chop that up too, but we're not going to chop that up until we've got the cab down where we want the cab. We've got to get this motor and gearbox out of this to put in this beauty here. So we've actually picked up our transmission today, so that's going to be my main focus. This is going to be my secondary for a little bit. So we're going to do some fab work on this, but we've got to get the mechanics on that happening. All right, so with all that said, as you can see, it's about to get dark and it's humid because it's been raining today, and so I am going inside, and we'll see you tomorrow at some stage. Today we are going to attempt to pull that out of there. Oakley dokley. So we've got our 283 Chevrolet sitting in here. This is our 38 Chev that we're building. Brand new motor I built. But we've decided we are going to steal this motor from this car. Alrighty then, so as you see, we just got the motor out, pretty simple, yeah. Would have been easier. So I actually have, if we pan you around here, at those engine mounts, they're actually called tough mounts. So they're like a, they're not a rubber mount, they're a Teflon, I think, mount. And when I bolted oh yeah, oh, we nailed that. We have nailed it, nailed it, nailed it. What are we reckoning? So you're starting to get the idea now. You should be, yes. We put that piece in the bottom just to hold it all square. So we've got to sheet that in. We've got to continue RHSing in there. We've got this piece in, just got to weld it out, like another piece of sheet in there, and a piece of RHS at there. And then, I don't know if you've seen, where's my piece? This piece here, but we're at the point where it has to come off now. This piece here, what we're going to do is we're going to weld onto there like that. Straight up and down there, yeah? And then we'll have a little piece here that joins onto it. All right, and we'll sheet that in on the side, all right? Then probably somewhere around where that line is, around there, we'll slice this up and we'll probably bend that. We'll bend that way. Boom. We'll have this piece going down like that. We'll put a piece of RHS across through the bottom. We'll sheet here. We'll sheet in here and like that. This will be here. Boom. Sheet in the sides. We'll probably do the top. Probably do the top here with a piece of angle, I'd say. Angle across the top. And we can put some pieces of wood in. There's a lot of crap in the way, so it's very hard for you to see what we're doing properly, but I think that's going to work. Like I said, we've channeled the cab another 4 inches. So we've got 8 inches basically, 8 to 9 inches, that's channeled. because it's 4 inches we just done, and you can see the little lip that they always have. So yeah, that's 8 to 9 inches channeled and a 5-inch roof chop. And yeah, I reckon that's starting to look the part. So, and then you just see me grinding all this down, making a mess, taking all this back to bare metal. And then the plan is we'll squirt a little bit of paint in a few random spots, sand it back, give it the acid. So yeah, basically now I've marked it. Oh, now as you can see in here, we've got these little flat plates. So we're just going to weld a little plate under there with a hole, bolt in from underneath. Same at the front there. We'll have a little plate welded on there on the chassis. So that will mount it very easily. Should be a treat. So we're basically at the point now where it can come off. I've got everything kind of marked and what have you. So it can come off and just be welded up and all joined back together on the ground. I can't get you any good views, really, of it, but in the real life, not in camera, it actually looks pretty cool. It actually looks pretty cool. Some people will hate it, some people will love it, but this is a $50 tray, so we are utilizing it. My other option was to make a trailer out of it, but we've chopped it up and we're using it now, so boom, 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 there we go. Seats in, I've sat in it. It's not as good as it was to look out of, but it's still fine. We're going to drop the front 2 inches. I think that'll look cool, guys. I think it'll look cool. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do on this episode because we'll probably get long. I'll probably do a little bit of this off camera. I'd say we'll get a bit of, we'll just smack this out because it's pretty boring. You're watching me grind all this back to bare metal. So I'll smash a bit of this out in the next day or two and get this closer, and we'll come back in, and I think in the next one we'll get this, we'll try to get this finished. We'll look at our guards, a couple of ideas for guards, and I think we will look at our noseless conus and chop that up and sit that into position, and we might even, and I think I've decided I'm just going to put that little sucker in it. I think I'm just going to throw that little 6-cylinder in it. For now, I think that's the plan. So anyway, enough dribbling. Thanks for watching. Drop your comments of what you think of what I'm doing with this. And I'll see you next week. Reaper.